Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Nick Lenz's Comic Corner Classics / Non-Classics. Episode 24. In this episode review, Spider-Man, The Return of the Black Cat. Where, yes, it's more than the cover Black Cat that's come back. Where it has issues 600, 601, A Web of Spider-Man, Amazing Experiment, and Material from Spider-Man number 1. Written by Joe Kelly, Mark Gillen, and J.M. Demers. I think it's a... Yeah. Everyone takes turns with this. This is something quite odd. Now, the first thing is basically dealing with the return of Black Cat, obviously, somewhat. Yeah, just basically just a side... The first one's just a side story. Doesn't really accomplish very much until basically it deals with the return of the Black Cat. Bingo! On a 2-part splash page. Yeah. I believe this is a 2-part story. I believe it is, yes. And of course, it gets on the web. They make out. Yeah, it gets all over New York. And the follow-up issue simply just deals with it. And of course, she doesn't see what it looks like without a mask on, so. Yeah. It's just 2 parts where he does talk to Dan Bennett about the dead guy who's actually his former business partner. And they run into, and of course, Diablo shows up. The old Fantastic Four villain from the 60s. This is one of 2 times he faced him. He does return in another storyline. I'll get to the storyline when I get to it. Yeah. Yeah, then they save the building. And then the story ends basically him meeting... Of course, this is sort of a small homage to the first Spider-Man movie. And of course, the story ends basically with a very unusually, where Anna Kravinoff meets Diablo. Yeah, very unusual. Yeah, Fantastic Four meeting a Spider-Man villain. Now this next one basically just deals with deals with the return of this guy, Kane, the disfigured clone of Peter Parker. Yeah, that's the whole point of the story. Dealing with him, deals with Ben Reilly, it basically deals with history, but simply just deals with his return. That's the whole real point of the story. It just Kane Parker comes back to life. Then the next 3 issues basically deals with the Raptor. It sort of continues what happened in the annual. Yes. Annual 36, that was also in the last book as well, Annual 36. Yeah, this continues right where the last one left off, where the annual left off. Of course, Spider-Man kind of teams with Screwball in this issue, in these 3 parts. Yeah, it finally wraps up the whole Ben Reilly thing, which had been sort of dragging. He does talk to Nora briefly about Ben Reilly in the book. It sort of tells exactly what he thinks is Ben Reilly. Yeah. Yeah, it's a pretty good 3-parter. I give it that much. Yeah, I love the cover art for these books. Yeah, really good artwork. I really wish the artists do the inside of the books as well. Yeah. And thing with Michelle, obviously something that happened in the previous book. Yeah, and they're kind of together. It's sort of a flirtation. Yeah. It's a really good story, I give it that much. Raptor base, and they finally wrap up the Raptor thing, and on the cover, it's Kane. I'll explain about Kane once I finish the review. Yes. This basically wraps up the Who Was Ben Reilly thing. And basically, Kane is fighting Raptor. Now, Kane does come back for another story. He does come back for the next few stories, but he doesn't play much of a big role until the finale of that big epic story. Screwball's in the issue, and then pretty much Spider-Man defeats him, and then the thing ends with Kane killing Raptor. It's an okay ending. I have no problem with him doing it because he's killed you before, so whatever. Now this last story, this one's kind of funny. Yeah, the thing opens. This is issue 611. Now it wraps up basically with almost a lot of the Marvel women that basically surrounded him. I think I see Emma Frost, Madame Mystique, Elektra, Black Cat, Viper, Mystique, Spider Woman. I'm thinking this woman blue might be Sheep. I'm not really sure what these other women are. But they don't actually really explain who some of these women are. Yeah, I think Supply the Rogue's an issue. Now, this is basically a very somewhat, I don't know what you would call this. Yeah, I have no words on that. Yeah, of course they still have Madam Web. The artwork is a bit different from the previous story, and all of a sudden, bam, the artwork changes. Where Spider-Man fights Lady Stiltman. Yeah, that's Lady Stiltman. She has not appeared very much, and of course Deadpool basically just hired to just distract him, like this Celeste State at the time. Yeah, that's pretty much all that happens in the book. They just fight. He rips off his mask. They tease each other. It's kind of a humor issue. Basically, building up to the next story. Or, also they also kidnap the third Spider-Woman. All in all, 5 out of 5. I like the last book when it had one story was very weak. All 3 stories in here were really good, in my opinion. Deadpool's okay, but it's not weak. It's not a weak story. It's an interesting story. Overall, 5 out of 5. Okay. Now let me say about Kane Parker. Kane was from the controversial Clone Saga from the 1990s. Who was in there throughout most of it until he abruptly died at the end of Maximum Clonage, the most confusing story ever written for the Clone Saga. And now he's back. He had his own series recently that just ended just last month, and now he's going to be in New Warriors. Of course, he's now known as the Scarlet Spider, and he's got himself a sidekick known as Hummingbird, and they're both joining the New Warriors. Excuse me. Pretty much, of course, everybody knows what Black Cat is. Deadpool, okay. As for that third Spider-Woman, her real name is Maddie Franklin. She's Jonah's niece. And she, when I get up to it, apparently the Craven Office are going to have the spiders. They got Madam Web, and they got the third Spider-Woman. When I get to that particular story, I am going to be sort of ranting on it, what kind of story it is when I get up to it. Otherwise, though, this is kind of a short video, but I have a good reason to. The Black Cat story was really good, but I think the highlight mark of the book that really made the book was the Raptor story, which they finally wrapped up. Which basically, it was a follow-up to the annual. They wrapped up really good because they bring back Peter Parker's cousin's mere debut in the very same issue, and they kill him off. I have no problem with him being killed off because he's kind of a weak villain who has weak motivations. And it turns out it wasn't Ben Reilly killed his family. He killed his family because he was hallucinating about Ben Reilly. Yeah, Ben Reilly was his Levis. Excuse me. Pretty much, this is a really good book. I recommend definitely get it either from the library or Amazon. But the Black Cat story is right in the beginning. It's only 3 parts. Actually, it's 2 parts. Yeah, it's a 2-part story. The Black Cat story is only 2 parts. The Raptor story takes up 3 issues, and the final issue is simply just a prelude to the follow-up storyline, which is known as the Gauntlet. And that first one, he faces up against Electro. Interesting thing, basically, here with the Gauntlet, basically, and that's the follow-up storyline to this. The Gauntlet is simply the return of Spider-Man villains, and he just fights them. Of course, when I get to the finale of the story, you'll figure out exactly why the story actually had to happen. Okay? And, I forgot this. Was look in the corner next to Mary Jane. Apparently this was actually sort of a signed book. I didn't know so before, but... And this book does start the relationship between the Black Cat and Spider-Man. And this lasts up until just before Dan Slott's... Just before that and Peter Parker starts a relationship with somebody else. Which I'll get to when I get up to it. I have the books here, but I have to get up to it first. All in all, good book. Next episode is the 25th episode. So, in sort of a special before that, I might be having off a list of questions. Basically. I could do it live if I wanted to, but I'm not going to. One thing, I don't think anybody would want to comment on my videos while I'm watching them. So, if you want me to have a live thing for my 25th episode, because I got that very quickly, in the course of a month, I might do it. I only do it if my viewers request it. Please comment below about your opinions on my videos, and my previous 23 videos. Please also watch my DVD review, my other series, and my topic. Watch all my uploads that I have watched. I have uploaded probably close to 30, maybe 35 videos right now. But I'm trying the best I can with these things. You know, I do this basically once a week. And I upload more than one episode a day when it comes to these series. Now, DVD review, when I brought that back up, even though it's been maybe a couple months since I last did episode, but I was trying to find a time to watch that video. I was planning on doing. But since I watched Carrie, I decided to do it anyways. That's the only reason why I did it. Alright. Excuse me a second. Otherwise, though, that's it. You can all stay tuned for my 25th episode. Alright? See you there.